July 72 was a terrible memory.
It was a beautiful morning, sun shining bright, and we walked up through Clary, the two of us.
When the call came in the morning that there had been an explosion, a car bomb in Clary, I would have been expecting something probably in the city.
Operation Motorman had started that day.
About 10 o'clock in the morning, there was a bomb explosion.
And there was a white, grey plume of smoke went up like a mushroom, you know. Ground shook under her feet like.
This was a bomb that no one knew about.
You can't justify what I seen that day.
I knew by that sound that there was a terrible disaster in the street.
I didn't really know what was happening, and I found myself feeling displaced from within my own family.
And then you go down on your knees and shone underneath the car to make sure the car wasn't booby-trapped.
I think it was a mixture of fear between the people down on the bog side and ourselves in the fire brigade. We just really didn't know what happened.
Or maybe within the period of 1 year, we had lost 4 or maybe 6 soldiers in the Castlereagh area.
Somebody came running up the hall. It was an IRA man with a gun. I could hear Jennifer crying in the living room. They took Patsy out of the living room. At midnight, they took him away. At 5 minutes to 4, the phone rang. I had a closed coffin, and I didn't know who was in the coffin because 5 soldiers had been blown up at the same time.
And there was a petrol bomb had been thrown at him, and it had caught him on fire.
The Ballykelly explosion was another terrible atrocity.
The night that we got the call, I just happened to turn around to one of the boys in the machine. I said, "Where are we going?" And he said, "We're going to drop Well in." As we moved on down, heading towards Faughan Vale, first thing we met was these fleet ambulances all coming up. But there was no such thing as saying, "Would you come here now? You'll be counselled for this." You just went on about your business, and that was as simple as that.
My dad was a civil rights activist, but it came to me as a huge shock when the British Army burst into our house one night and dragged my dad out.
On the scene, they were looking for firemen. So I written on an application form. This was in 1948. I was there until 1976. I was one of a crew that attended the Melville Hotel fire. We lost 2 men at that. One of them was Lexi Wiley. leading fireman, and leading fire, Leonard McCartney.
It might have been 1971. Probably my best friend at the time. He was a Catholic, lived across the street from me. His house was burnt.
Back then, Protestants and Catholics would play together, and we got burnt out.
As the years started to click on, you just started to notice things changing. I didn't understand it. What's happening here? Why are they getting burnt out?
We were all upstairs in bed. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, there was this massive crash. There was this massive big army pig right through the front of our living room.
And we sent the fire engines down. And all of a sudden, the door of the control room opened. And he said, we were attacked. We'd never been attacked before. This was the first time we were ever involved in what you would call a riot situation.
It was a safe house for the Ra, but it wasn't safe for us. I was told to be quiet. What you seen stayed in the house and you never spoke out. My daddy would tell us to stay out of the parlour, because that's where the men were taken when they were wounded.
I'll never forget this man lying on the ground. He wasn't moving. Eyes were closed. Our first reaction was that he was dead, because to be honest with you, that's the way he looked. The jeep pulled away as if nothing happened.
As the years started to click on, you just started to notice things changing. The troubles was still going on, but it still didn't really mean that much. It was 1973, I was only 10 years old. Our young fellas who were from the Glen couldn't wear their uniform in their own house. I joined the band, and 37 years later I'm still in it.
My story begins on the day of the Omagh bomb, 15th of August, 1998. It was as if a lid had been blown off a box that I had locked carefully and put away many years before. It made me think of the many tens of thousands of people who have been injured and affected deeply by the Troubles. The 15th of August 98 in Omagh triggered something in me that I thought was long since buried.
We were on duty the night that Mr. O'Hara, Patsy O'Hara, passed away through the hunger strike. The people were always very good to us and never deliberately tried to hurt us, but we didn't know that night what the reaction would be from the people following the death of Mr. O'Hara.
Hopefully, it's not going to go back to the way it was before. I honestly think that it has to be stopped from within.
But I once knew a girl who grew into her strength, who learned to say no and claim back her life, who never stopped imagining, even when her world was dark, who got help and support and found out she wasn't alone. I am that girl, Teresa Parker McCann.